to all our Muslim brothers as we mark Eid Mubarak.
Well, it is exactly what we'll start our bulletin with this afternoon. My name is Edith Kimani. Good afternoon.
And my name is Boni Tunya.
Well, Muslims today began celebrations to mark the special day of Eid, an end to their holy month of Ramadan, during which they have been fasting.
The celebration started early morning with prayers at various centers across the country, although a section of Muslims ended their fast yesterday.
That was due to differences in sighting of the moon. Here is the story.
Their brothers and sisters across the world for the Eid celebrations.
Allahu Akbar.
In Mombasa, the Muslims gathered at Ziwani grounds to mark the end of the holy month of Ramadan, breaking the 30-day fasting period. In their prayers, Muslims were urged to care for the underprivileged in the society as demands their holy teachings at the end of Ramadan. The feat was equally observed in the western parts of the country and in Nyanza. In western Kenya, Muslims held prayers in Kakamega early Friday morning.
Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar.
With another group of Muslims who ended their fast on Thursday, owing to the fact that the moon was sighted in Arab countries. Chief Kadhi in Kenya says that should not be a basis of division among the Muslim faith in the country.
Tumekubali amri ya Chief Kadhi vile alivyofanya. Tumeridhika kabisa kwa sababu Chief Kadhi ana network ya kila mahali.
Chief Kadhi ni kiongozi wa umma na anabeba jukumu la umma, na lazima thibitishe kwamba mwezi umeonekana, kwa sababu Chief Kadhi wetu anafata Qur'ani, anafata na mwongozo wa Mtume Muhammad ambaye amesema fungeni kwa kuona mwezi na mfungue kwa kuona mwezi.
The government declared Friday a national holiday to mark the end of Ramadan. Muslims celebrate Eid at the end of the 30 days of fasting to mark the end of the holy month of Ramadan. Samugina, KTN, Nairobi.
Now, a section of passengers scheduled to travel to various international destinations from the Jomo Kenyatta International Airport have expressed frustration after failing to get flights since 7 a.m. this morning, as they had been promised. Now, with little space for them to wait for their flights, the passengers sat outside the domestic clearance unit that has now been turned into the international departures terminal. The late morning showers also added to their inconvenience, while those of the Muslim faith who expected to fly and have their Eid prayers at home missed out on their prayers.
I think it could have been done a little bit better. I would have gotten like a big tent. I would have had some great signage. I think it would have been helpful to make people understand that there was a system in place and that there was somebody in charge. It feels a little like no one's really in charge here.
Even providing seats, we're sitting in the rain. We came from our hotel, early this morning at 8 o'clock because we were told the flight was at 11:20. We have no idea when it is going to fly, so we possibly could be here for another 3-4 hours.
Today's my Eid as well. We've missed the prayers, and well, we're just waiting now, hopefully.
We'll certainly keep an eye on that story to see if the situation does indeed get better. Elsewhere, the chairman of the Council of Governors, who is also the Bomet governor, and that's Isaac Ruto, has complained over what he says is frustration by the transitional authority in attempts to speed up devolution functions. Now, as a row rages over the transitional authority's Gazette notice, which appeared to reduce some functions previously meant for the devolved units, Ruto says the governors are still being taken for a ride. He was speaking in Bomet yesterday as he hosted the Deputy Speaker of the National Assembly, Dr. Joyce Laboso.
Tumekuwa na mikutano several times, but I am shocked to hear what I was hearing today in Nairobi. What we agreed on Monday is not being implemented. And when I talk about these things, I'm not talking as Isaac Ruto because I want anything to do. I'm speaking on behalf of the people who live in Machina.
Mkiona tukingangana tukisema ati hata hii barabara si tumekuwa tukitengeneza barabara kwa using kera. Kera is not under the control of the MP. It is a body yenye iko na law yenye ina govern vile inafanya kazi. So hii vitu sio personal. Until munasikia sasa hata Senate nasema National Assembly inapigana na Senate. Ni kwa sababu katiba is not clear.
Now, a 21-year-old student from the Kenya Wildlife Service Training Institute has been detained in an Nakuru hospital following misunderstanding between his family and his school on who is supposed to settle his hospital bill. The student was hospitalized after an accident during a school trip in Baringo County. But now the school says their medical insurance does not cover the kind of accident he was involved in. KTN's Kamcha Menza now reports.
James says 4 days into the school field trip, they headed to Lake Bogoria at Kudu campsite where they pitched camp. And in the evening, together with his fellow students, they headed to a nearby river where they were meant to bath.
On the river side, wengine wakiwa hata ndani. Lakini sasa mimi penye nilikuwa naogea ni kama niliteleza na nikaanguka ndani na nikadrown.
And when he woke up, he says he found himself in a private hospital in Nakuru at the intensive care unit.
Nilifanyiwa first aid baada ya kutolewa na watu watatu because nilikuwa nimekunywa maji mingi sana na mchanga, nikaletwa ICU.
But 5 days later,
daktari alikuwa ameniambia sikuwa nimepona zaidi, lakini alikuwa amenidischarge since lungs zangu zilikuwa zimekunywa maji. Kaniambia zinaweza ponea nyumbani.
For now, it's more than a week since James was discharged, only to realize that the hospital bill had not yet been settled. His mother informed him that the school was not ready to pay a single cent to cover his medical bill. The school reportedly says that their insurance covers only snake bites and road accidents, a situation that left his mother stranded since she cannot settle the more than 200,000 bill.
Mkubwa mara ya kwanza kaniambia ningoje, wamepeana report head office Nairobi. Akaniambia bili ikitoka niwasomee. Nilipowaambia hivyo kwa simu, wakaniambia clerk ameruka, hawezi lipa hiyo kwa sababu hiyo ijakava na insurance.
We sought to contact the school heads and a response from the deputy principal was that the issue was being handled. But until then, James says he is in what he calls hospital arrest and calls on well-wishers to assist him. Kamchemenza, KTN from Nakuru County.
Effective implementation of devolution is mandatory if the country is to proceed successfully in development. These are the words of Meru Senator Kiraito Murungi, who maintains that the national and county governments must work together to overcome the numerous challenges of devolution. He was addressing a forum on devolution in Meru, which included officials from both the national and county governments.
Anybody standing on the way of devolution will be swept aside. That one, I know there is so much determination, and even ordinary Kenyans, they will not allow that to happen. And for this time, it's even written in the Constitution that any person who undermines the Constitution commits treason. So anybody who undermines devolution commits treason in this country, and he can be tried for that offense of undermining the Constitution of Kenya.
From Nyeri, we stop at Kirinyaga County, where entrepreneur Charles Njiru Mukombozi has been honored by the Italian University for his role in converting rice husk waste into cooking fuel. Mukombozi was awarded with a certificate of appreciation by the University of Studies of Brescia, Italia, yesterday. This award was handed at the entrepreneurial by the Luigi Polonini, who did his internship at the nice rice millers owned by Mukombozi in Mwea. Pololini came up with an environmentally friendly and power-saving jiko which uses rice husks for cooking. During his internship at the facility, the jiko Pololini made with the assistance of Mukombozi is considered cost-effective as it uses little of the husk as a cooking fuel, making it even more affordable and friendly to area residents.
We came here to do a research and introduce one kind of stove that burn rice husk.
Nashukuru zaidi kwa usaidizi wa Kenya tumepata na heshima tumepata, sababu Wakenya sasa watakuwa wanatumia maganda ya mpunga ambaye ilikuwa inatambaa kila pahali. Sasa Wakenya watakuwa wanatumia maganda ya mpunga na njia ya kupika kwa haraka na kuipata ni njia ya rahisi.
I like the fact that his name is Mkombozi, which is Swahili for savior. But to the frontier, if you missed it last evening, that livestock theft in Kenya's far-flung regions is a problem is certainly no secret. But what you may not know is the lifestyle of communities that practice it. KTN's Western Region reporter Fred Omulo took a trip into the corners of Nyanza to dig up this story that examines just how some Kenyans use traditional innovations to deal with the challenges of modern world. Here's this week's episode of The Frontier.
Mention the word courier in any part of Kenya and the first image that comes to most people's minds is of marauding cattle rustlers, vicious when they strike and always ahead of the police. But this cultural or criminal practice, depending on how you look at it, has social implications beyond the casual observer's grasp.
Tulieleza askari ya polisi wakashindwa hata wao, maana malizazi ilikuwa mingi na walikuwa wanatupikia malizazi.
The social plague has given birth to one of the most interesting innovations in Kenya's grassroots. A courier homestead, unlike other communities in Kenya, consists of conjoined huts that have a patio in which livestock are stored.
Aiba ng'ombe tu peke yake, hawaipi mtu, anaiba ng'ombe. Mtu yule wanaiba ni ule nini? Ni ule wanaua. Ndio wanaiba.
Okay, na ukipata
wanaua kabisa hao.
The scourge of livestock theft, especially between the Nyabase and Irege clans, left the ordinary courier with no option but to ring-fence his animals at night with nothing less than a human shield, albeit an armed and sleeping one. This also ensured that ordinary courier couldn't keep large herds due to the limited sizes of homesteads. For many Kenyans, this may appear to be a very peculiar way of existence, but for thousands of couriers both in Kenya and Tanzania, this is a way of life. The only way that they can use to safeguard their primary source of wealth, livestock. Despite this cultural innovation, modern weapons easily break down these defenses, with thugs using automatic firearms and scaling roofs to fight with occupants before inviting accomplices into the household.
Na nyumba ng'ombe. Muisi akisema leo nitaenda kwa Tamari, asema atakuja atachukua kitu ila anataka. Kitu mtafanya, mumalize wizi. Na wizi hiyo ni watoto wetu. Ndio wanachukua na tunyang'anya wale iko na nguvu.
A key factor in the lawlessness rampant here is complicity among members of the security apparatus. The provincial administration and police stand accused of being the main facilitators of the trade in stolen livestock.
Vile tulikutana na hao maskari walishuka nao raia wa Kipsix wakashuka pamoja nao. Hasa wakachukua zile ng'ombe, wakakusanya hizo ng'ombe mingi za Transmara hapo, wakapatia hao ma Kipsix.
On the other hand, many would reckon that this unique architecture is just a reflection of the courier state of mind, a manifestation of love for cherished wealth.
To a person who doesn't quite understand it, you would think it's about defending animals from being rustled. No. It's really how much we treasure.
Whatever the case may be, the governor finds the whole concept of cattle raids repugnant and doesn't mince his words.
I know it has been a cultural, practice, but we must also accept that certain cultures are repugnant. They add no value at all to our modern day practices.
At the end of the day, residents of this region that bestrides Kenya and Tanzania continue to live a life of fear and violence, while powerful facilitators ensure the main meat market in Suba, Kuria supplies Nyanza with tasty beefy treats. From Kuria East in Migori County, I am Fred Omulo.
Make sure to catch up with The Frontier every Thursday on KTN Prime, and that's at 9 p.m. But as Kenya prepares to celebrate 50 years of independence, democracy, it seems, remains a key highlight of the country's development.
However, one of those men who fight for democracy is well documented will not be celebrating as much. Kenneth Matiba's poor health has worsened in recent months, and he is said to be living in deplorable conditions and in need of medical care.
Leaders from Murang'a County are now urging the state to step in and help Matiba while there's still time.
While Ben Kitili has a story.
Has already taken a lot of his property, and now they have been left with little or almost nothing. So I'd urge the government to support him now with medical attention, even supporting his family, his sons and his wife. The situation they are in now is not a situation that we might smile about. It is a needy situation, and the government need to act immediately.
Right, we're just about to take a short commercial break, but remember the website you need to be looking out for even on this particular holiday is www.standardmedia.co.ke.
We'll see you on the other side of the break.